Hey everybody, this is Ann Puckett, Regional Vice President with Arbonne, and we're going to be teaching you tonight about how you can incorporate using a slideshow presentation along with what you normally do when you're doing a product demo, whether you call it a workshop, a show, a party, a get-together, whatever it is. And this applies no matter what the product line is that you're going to be demonstrating. So we're going to talk about the benefits of using a slideshow, and also how to do it and how to mesh that with what we've been doing in Arbonne for a zillion years with our script. So first couple of things I want to mention is that some of the benefits of having some kind of a slideshow presentation, whether it's on your laptop or whether you hook up to your host's TV or whether you use their Apple TV or however it is, or maybe you have it on your iPad, however it is that you choose to show it. You have to think about in 2016, this is how people make professional presentations, is there's something to look at. And, we want to keep our guests engaged. We want them to feel like they're getting some great information, and we want them to feel like they have, that the time just flies by and that they're learning all kinds of great stuff, but also that we don't necessarily have to be the end-all, be-all source for all health and wellness related information on the planet. We're not some sort of science computer where we have all the herbs memorized and we know every ingredient and every product. That is not our job in Arbonne at all. And that's why we've always followed some sort of a script, is to show the duplicability, the way our business can be easily duplicated for anybody, because our point is that if you could follow along with the script, then you could run an Arbonne show. And that's true. But at the same time, it's a lot of information, and sometimes some of it goes by really quickly. And we want to make sure that our guests really actually learn something when they come to an Arbonne show, that they can take with them information that then becomes a part of them, that they can apply in their own lives when they're looking at products and ingredients and labels. So for all of those reasons, for the fact that then when we have a presentation to follow, it helps us stay on track. When we have something to follow, it gives our guests something to look at. And, most of us are visual learners on some level. So having something to read and look at, pictures, say 1,000 words, so much more than us as the consultant just standing up there talking, reading a piece of paper. And then it also helps our guests to really learn something and to remember what they learn in a different way than if it's just us speaking. So for all those reasons, having some sort of slide presentation makes such a big difference. And the challenge then, and it's really not that big of a challenge actually, but the challenge is just to figure out how to incorporate that into what we've always been doing in Arbonne with our script. And so what we've done today, what we're going to do today is kind of show you how to take what you've been doing probably for years in Arbonne with our party script and how to put that together with the slideshow that basically came to us a couple of months ago that we've been using at all of our client events. So I'm going to share my screen so you're going to be able to see what we've got here. Before I do that actually. So here's a couple of the technical stuff that you would need to know. So this slideshow is in a PDF format, which is easy to send, easy to download, easy to put on any kind of device, a laptop, an iPad, even your phone. It's just going to be kind of hard to see on your phone. And so then you have a couple choices for how you share that. I know some consultants like to just sit their laptop at the kitchen table and folks sit around the table and they can view the laptop. I really love connecting it to the TV, just like we do for a grand opening presentation. I love that everybody can see it. It's nice and big and bright. And for that, what you're going to do 99% of the time is you're going to connect your computer to your host TV through their HDMI cable. And I'm not any kind of techie by any stretch of the imagination, but just so you know, the HDMI cable is the one that connects the TV to virtually any other device. It connects the TV to the cable box or the satellite or the DVD player, like almost any other device is connected from the TV to that using an HDMI cable. So you can connect that right to your laptop. You might need an adapter. If you have a Mac especially, like I do, then you need a little adapter like this, and the HDMI cable goes here, and then this goes into your computer. So you just have to do a little bit of research to figure out how to connect your kind of device to the TV. Or if you don't want to do any of that, then you can always use your laptop as the screen. So that's a little bit of the technology part, but none of this is complicated. And, just ask anybody who's like 12 and they'll know the answer. They'll know how to do it. Okay, so now I really am going to share my screen. Or the presentation. So here we go. Party slide right here. Okay, so this is what I have up on the screen from the time that the guests arrive. It's just here. And I still do exactly the same things I've always done, where guests are gathering and we're, giving people drinks, and they might be getting a little snack, and then I'm doing some sea salt scrubs. And when it's time to gather around, then I sort of take the role of the host and say, come on in and let's sit down, and everybody, bring your drink over, and it's time to get started. And I pass out my closing sheets so that I don't forget to do that. And so we're going to have those at the end. I say, just hold on to this. We'll get back to it at the end, so they have a chance to kind of absorb that information before we begin. I like to have everybody who's there kind of go around and say their name and say how they know the host, because sometimes they don't know each other. And it's just a fun way to make sure that I remember everybody's name too. It gives me another chance to practice them. Then when it's time to get started, I say a big, big, big thank you to the host. And I say, hosting an Arbonne gathering is pretty much one of the easiest things to do ever. It's not hard, but you do still have to invite some people and send them some text reminders. Like you might have gotten some reminders from your host. Don't forget to come. And she had to buy some wine and maybe a little bit of food and maybe run the vacuum or something. But we do make sure that we take great care of our hosts, because it's how we get to stay in business. And it's how, for example, for myself, I've been able to be have a really successful Arbonne business for almost 11 years with, I don't even know how many hosts who have had me into their home to do exactly this. And so I want to take great care of, and I'll just use the host name as Stephanie for today, because I had a party with Stephanie this afternoon, so it's fresh in my mind. So I want to take great care of Steph, and I really appreciate her. And so she's going to get all kinds of host benefits with great discounted products, and she gets to pick a holiday line product, and here it is, and do your whole host thing. And the point of this slide here is it will remind you, you won't forget to make a big deal about the host, because this slide is here to remind you exactly of that. Then I say, okay, so here's just a little bit about me. This is my family, and this is where you would have a photo of your family. I tell everybody I'm a mom and I'm a teacher and I have a couple of kids and my husband, and this is a little bit about me. And then this is my Arbonne team, and I'm a member of this team, and this is all of us when we were, not all of us, but a portion of us when we were in Vegas for our global training conference. And I say a little bit about that, and you can just tell by looking, there's like every kind of person, people from multiple countries and states around the United States and from all different backgrounds, and we just have a great time together. So that's the team that I'm a part of. And then I get started with the presentation. So I say, here's a little background about Arbonne. And I'm not going to go through everything you say on every single slide, except to say this. If you've ever done any kind of presentation for your job or for work, sort of like the kiss of death of a PowerPoint slide is to just read from the slide. That is like pretty much the worst thing you can ever do. The whole point of having the slides there is that it reinforces what you're saying. So you can still follow along with your script. I have mine in this format. It's like in these little cards, but I just chopped up the same script that's on Laura's website and put it in half so I can make little cards. It's the exact same thing. So it tells me when I get to this slide, I'm going to say a little bit about, how we don't have any stores and we don't have any models and we don't have any advertising, and we pour into research and development. And while I'm saying that stuff, they're also kind of hearing what I'm saying and taking a look at the slide, and they get information in two different ways. Instead of saying like, so we're 36 years young, we have a Swiss heritage, we meet European standards. I mean, just don't do that because it might take a little practice. But if that's the case, then you could just send this to them and they can read it themselves. You have to provide some more of a benefit than just what's written on the slide. But the bottom line about Arbonne, what I say on the slide, the bottom line is that we're all about ingredients. We're about ingredients that are pure, safe, and beneficial. And I'm going to give you some more detail about that in just a minute. So the next slide is that, when you talk about your health, and really there's nothing in life more important than your health pretty much. And we all take it for granted until something happens. But Arbonne's philosophy about your health is that it's a two-way street. What you put on the inside affects the outside. What you put on the outside affects the inside. And so we have products for every part of you because we want to make sure that you're healthy from the inside out and the outside in. So, you might have noticed that you or people that you know occasionally have some of these symptoms. You might just not feel good a lot of times. You might be tired. And so you see what I'm saying? Like when you're doing it this way and you're saying, you might have, sometimes you just don't sleep well, or maybe sometimes your digestive system is like fighting against you. And instead of, are any of you ever depressed? Do you have disturbed sleep? Do you have mood swings? Do you have weight gain? Don't go down through the whole list, but just, mention a few things and say, guess what? If you have any one of these problems, it's probably because somewhere in your body, something is out of balance. Something's out of whack. And, I'm not a doctor and I'm not going to diagnose any of you here today. But, maybe it might be your hormones, or it might be inflammation, or it might be some nutritional deficiencies, or it might be some kind of toxicity. But the good news is that, we can actually really help you with Arbonne products. They can actually make a difference with some of these things because you're a product of your environment. Every single thing you eat, the air that you breathe, and every single product that you put in your hair and your face and your skin and all over your body goes into your bloodstream and becomes a part of you. And so that's why you have to really care about what you put in and on your body. It affects everything. And so that's what we're going to teach you here today, is that when you leave here today, you're going to know a little bit more about ingredients and you can be pickier so that you can be healthier. So we're about the pickiest company out there. We're the perfect company for picky people because we meet everybody's standards. So this is where we talk about the Arbonne ingredient policy. And I'm not going to go through everything that you would say on this slide, but it's all of what we usually say about it's the great things we put in the products, but it's all the really gross, nasty stuff that we leave out. You can give examples of that, and you can say, how many of you know somebody who's trying to go gluten-free? How many of you know somebody who has a lot of allergies? How many of you know somebody who's trying, to avoid like artificial stuff? Everybody knows. How many of you know somebody who's dairy-free? People start nodding and raising their hands. So, that's where you say that kind of stuff. And we have things for everybody that has all of these things and more. These are people that you're talking about that they should know about Arbonne for all of these reasons. So inflammation is what it all boils down to. Everything we want to avoid, heart disease, hypertension, cancer, wrinkles, literally everything that we want to avoid is caused by inflammation in one way or another. And so what you want to have is an anti-inflammatory diet. The things that you introduce into your body should not produce inflammation. So if you were like a perfect person who only ate the perfect foods that were going to do the perfect things for your body, then you would want to avoid everything on this slide. You'd want to avoid all the pesticides and antibiotics and gluten and sugar and alcohol and artificial everything. And, of course, you and I, we all know that's completely unrealistic, and no one's going to be able to do that 100% of the time. It's just not the way our lives are. But what you can do is you can find a brand. You can find a company and a brand that produces products that are free of all of these things, so that whenever you reach for one of those products, you're doing the right thing. You're doing something great for yourself. When you reach for a protein shake because you're hungry and you're like not sure what to eat, you can always have a protein shake and it's going to be a good thing for you to do. When you're thirsty and you just don't feel like drinking any more plain old water, you can always reach for an energy fizz stick and it's going to be the right thing for you. So the point about the anti-inflammatory diet is that only Arbonne products are free of all of this stuff. Go out and do the research. You'll find that that's true. So let's get down to the product. So here's my favorite part. This is where we get to try and sample and taste test Arbonne products. And how awesome is that? Because when you go into like a regular store, a Whole Foods or a GNC or a organic market or Target or any places where you buy products, you can't open them up and smell them and try them and taste them and then put the open, container back on the shelf. So this is the best part about going to an Arbonne gathering is you actually get to try this stuff like right this second. Right now we're going to do it. So, and then at this point, I want to mention that it's up to you how you set up your products. You might have everybody around a table, and so the products are in the middle of the table, or you might have everyone in the living room where the TV is, and then you've got the products on the coffee table or something, which is kind of how I usually do it. But it's all good. But at this point, then when you go through each of these slides about product specifics, then you try the products out right then and there. So you've got everything out. So now you're on the protein slide. You don't need to read all this information. They'll kind of look it over. They'll read it a little bit. You point out the things that you like to point out about where we get our protein from and how it keeps you feeling full. And it's got all these vitamins and minerals and all the different ways that you can taste the products. And I'll just give a little side tip here of something that I've noticed, which is when you start pouring the little cups, I like to say everything I want to say about the protein powder before I hand it to them to try. So, and this is just, it's just like refining your presentation to getting it really good, but, and that takes a little bit of practice, but here's why. So when you explain, okay, so you can mix up this protein powder so many different ways. You can mix it just with plain old water like I did today in the shaker cup. And this is the plainest version you'll ever taste. Or if you like it a little creamier, you could mix it with almond milk. Or if you like to, make smoothies, you can throw it in your blender or your NutriBullet or your Vitamix or whatever, and you can add fruit and you can add greens and you can add seeds and you can add ice cubes and you can add all, PB2 like peanut butter, almond butter. You can add so many things for flavor, fun, and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted you today to try the plainest version, like just the simplest version so that just by itself with just straight up water, this is what it tastes like. So I'm letting them know all of that before they make a decision about it, before they taste it and then like make up their mind one way or the other. I mean, I think both of our flavors are delicious. So it's not that I'm worried about the taste at all, but I just want them to know that there's a lot of different ways they can use the protein powder before they take a sip and then have already made up their mind. So then once you say everything about the protein powder, you can pass out the little cups and people can try them out. I usually have people try the vanilla just because there's so many ways you can use the vanilla protein powder and there's so many different kind of flavor combinations you can have with it. Plus it totally tastes and smells like cake batter and it is so, so, so yummy. And I tell people, if you like the vanilla, then just wait till you try the chocolate. It's so good. But you can add the protein. You can make the vanilla more sweet with fruit, or you can make it more spicy, or you can mix it into like lots of ingredients and baking and stuff. So I love to have people try the vanilla. Anyway, so this is what you do next. Then you're going to go through the other products in our nutrition line. So you talk about the fiber, and I like to hold up the bags as I talk about them, and I point out things that are on the back of the ingredients, and I talk about a couple of key things, just a few things. You don't have to say that much about each product, and you don't have to know every little bit of science of what fiber does for your body. I don't know half of that stuff either, but I've just learned little things along the way, and I just read them right off my card. Then I talk about the Digestion Plus, and I pick that up, and I say, everybody knows about probiotics. I mean, you'll see people doing all like the fermented foods where they're doing like the kombuchas and they're fermenting their own things and they're making their own yogurt and they're trying to get all these probiotics because your digestive system affects every single other system in your body. Everything all comes down to how well does your body extract nutrients from the foods that you eat. How efficiently does it do that and how well does it do that? That is what the Digestion Plus is all about, is helping your body get the maximum out of the foods that you eat. And it also helps to repair your digestive system if you have some issues there. So it doesn't, I just show them how they can use it and explain a couple different things about it. The greens balance, which is like the farmer's market in a jar. And I tell them like, it's even got the most organized label. In fact, I have mine right here. I say it's the most organized label ever because it actually organizes all the ingredients by color. It's hilarious. So when you look on the back, it tells you here are all the different greens. There's kale and broccoli and alfalfa and artichokes and parsley, all the green stuff. And then here's all the yellows and the carrots and the oranges. And I tell them all that stuff. And I say, listen, you probably try to eat vegetables every day, but there's no way you eat 27 of them every single day. It's just not even possible. So, here's a way that you can add another serving of vegetables to your diet every day. And you get the benefits that you would get if you were to eat all 27 different ones, the variety of the nutrients that you get. And everybody needs more vegetables. And you can hide it in all kinds of ingredients. You can tell them about that too, you can put it in baking, you can put it in spaghetti sauce, you can put it in all kinds of things. So then we talk about the cleanse and some of the great things about how it's not just a digestive system cleanse, but it's an entire body cleanse, head to toe, that when you drink the cleanse, then your body absorbs the ingredients in the cleanse, and those ingredients travel all throughout your body, and they attract toxins and then flush them out. It's totally amazing. Tell people about, everybody has heard about cleanses. They're very popular. You can always ask the crowd, have any of you ever tried a cleanse before? Have you ever done one of those juice cleanses or something where you weren't allowed to eat? Have you ever done a cleanse where you couldn't even last the whole time because you were like so cranky and grumpy and tired and hungry that you couldn't even make it? And somebody will say, oh yeah, I did one of those once, or I felt terrible. So, it's good to kind of like get all that out on the table so you can say, this cleanse is nothing like that. It is, you can go to work, you can have your normal life, but you will feel amazing as you, oh boy, my pets are doing things. You'll feel amazing as you start to get rid of all this sluggish stuff in your body. You'll feel great. Okay, so we talk about the cleanse, and then we go to the fizz sticks, and these are everybody's favorites. And here's the thing, I learned this from Petra Cleary when she said, it's all about your beverages and how many of us take in to our body so many calories and so many toxins, and I'm including sugar and caffeine in a lot of ways as a toxin. We take them in through the things that we drink. We don't even remember those, or might even be thinking about the foods that we're eating, but we forget how much we actually consume through beverages. So having smarter drink choices is huge. And, have you ever noticed that if you go into a store, you can't even buy a bottle of water for less than $2? Like just water is $2, $2.25, $2.50, depending on the store that you go to. So with these energy fizz sticks for like $1.50, you get the energy you need. And we talk about where that comes from. You get a great taste. Then you don't have to just drink water. You get to improve the alkalinity of your digestive system. You get some herbs that just help you feel better and have a better mood. Like it is literally win, 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 win all the way around. Your friends like you more when you drink fizz sticks. Everybody's happier when you have fizz sticks. And let people try them. So that's another thing that I like to have people taste test right then and there when you're on this slide. The tea is the next thing. You can talk about the tea and how delicious it is and how it helps that your liver and your kidneys are like filters. Like if you think about your vacuum cleaner or your car or your furnace or anything that has the water filter, anything that has a filter, and that's what your liver and your kidneys do for your bodies. They filter everything that comes into your body. They filter out the bad stuff. And so you have to help your liver and your kidneys to get rid of that because otherwise it kind of hangs around. So we go through that, and then I say, now here's the best part. Everybody on the slide is somebody that I know, people that I've met, people that I get to interact with, people I see their faces and see how much healthier and happier they are as a result of using the Arbonne products. And every single thing we've just tried now today are products that you could use for a variety of different reasons. Maybe you just want to be healthier. Maybe you want to make sure you don't get all kind of crazy diseases. Maybe you have some health issues that you're trying to correct. Maybe you're trying to drop some pounds. But the products that we tried today, you can use for all of those purposes. So I talk about Samaris, I talk about Petra, I talk about Stephanie, and talk about my husband, Joel. And so I talk about, I just love the fact that like everywhere I go, like in my own home, as well as to, around town, I get to see the benefits of people that have gotten super healthy, been able to get off medication, or been able to have more energy and feel better and confidence and all that kind of stuff. So that's that slide. Then I say, okay, so now we're going to switch to talking about your skin. And, taking care of your skin is part of a healthy lifestyle. It is part of just like taking care of your heart or taking care of your digestive system or your brain. Your skin is just the same as one of those organs. And in fact, it works harder than some of the other organs because it comes in contact with everything. So your skin has a lot of work to do. So we're going to talk a little bit about specifically your face because, you only get one. And you want to take good care of it. And so we talk a little bit about aging. You can just mention on this slide about how over time our the cell turnover rate slows down, and so our skin starts to get tired. And you've got a whole bunch of things to look forward to down here in this 9 signs of aging: redness or blotchiness or rougher skin texture, radiance, all that stuff. You have so much to look forward to. By the way, if you're not muted out wherever you are, if you wouldn't mind muting out your sound, that would be awesome. Okay, and then we say now you get to try our #1 selling product line in the entire catalog, which is our RE9 Advanced Skincare for Women and Men. And it does all kinds of stuff. It's clinically proven to do all these things down here. It has, there's 9 signs of aging I talked about a second ago. Well, here's 9 things that Arbonne RE9 Advanced delivers to fight all of that stuff. And so then we try the products out. We look at some of these examples of people that have had amazing results, like the eye cream and just the general like fresh and healthy glowing skin, and that women in all different age categories have had tons of success.
Beautiful.
Yeah, aren't they great? That they've had all kinds of success using RE9. And I talk a little bit about my own RE9 results, that I've been using RE9 for 11 years and that, I'm in my 40s now and I feel like my skin looks better than it did when I was in my 20s when I first got started. So, and you should always feel like, it's great to feel like you're going backwards in time instead of charging forwards. So this is the slide where then we try out those products and, people get a chance to sample them, walk through each and every product in the line. We talk about the Genius pads. There's a couple of slides of results of the Genius and skin texture and breakouts and unevenness and blotchiness and all that stuff. Talk about that. If you're using the Ultra at your presentation, you can then talk about the Ultra and let people try it. You can show some results of the Ultra. And then I say, okay, so that's these are all of our top selling products. This is what people get started with in Arbonne, are these great products that we shared today. So I want to know, raise your hand, who loves a good sale? Because the way we work it in Arbonne is that you can buy products a la carte. You can just pick and choose individual items. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. After 11 years and hundreds of parties and hundreds of customers, I know that you get better results when you use products that are formulated to go together, that are part of a collection. And so for that reason, Arbonne has bundled up some of our products into collections with huge discounts. And I'm going to share those with you right now. So find that order form that we took out earlier. Go ahead and find that paper. And then whatever closing sheet you're using, there's a couple different options depending on the kind of party you're doing, or depending on, your style and what you like. You walk through the closing sheet, walk through those different options of, these different package choices that they have with the ASVPs and that sort of thing. But, here's the thing. No matter what you choose, no matter which one of these packages you want to start with in Arbonne, and I'm going to help you pick something out when we get together over there in the dining room or whatever, who do you know that would love to have some of this information too? I mean, I bet every single one of you knows somebody that right now is trying to figure out how to lose weight, or somebody that's super duper tired all the time, or somebody that just wants to get healthier, or somebody that's had some illnesses. I mean, all of you know somebody like that, or somebody that just really likes, looking glamorous. Or everybody knows people like that. So you should all think about hosting something, because you get big, big discounts, just like Stephanie, our host here today, and you get to choose any products you want from our line. You get to customize your host package. It's awesome. So I've got some dates here, whether you have an open date card or whether it's on your closing sheet, however you do that, then that's the place where you're going to make sure to talk about that. And then I say, but the last thing I just want to say, everybody, before we get ready to do some shopping, is that I highly recommend that each and every one of you think about Arbonne as a business, either for yourself or for somebody that you know. And this is where you put your I story, not your why, not, everything, not your life story, but your I story, which you should have crafted down to about 2 or 3 minutes, where you can talk about, kind of before Arbonne and after Arbonne and the difference that it's made for you. And so what I say at this point, and I've actually tweaked this a little bit, recently, I think we're always tweaking our I story to get it really, really good. But I say, I originally started my business as a teacher looking for a couple extra $100 a month just to kind of make ends meet in the month. My husband was in graduate school and we just needed some extra income. And, I really like my teaching job. I love it, but I also like paying my bills. And I also like having a lot of money in my savings account. And I also like going on really great vacations. And I also like being able to send my kid to whatever school I think is right for them. And I also like being able to pay off my credit cards. And I also like being able to do pretty much whatever I want to. And so I like my job, but my job isn't going to do any of that for me. My job is just going to barely scratch the surface of being able to pay my mortgage and being able to put food on the table and being able to pay the BGE bill. But my job isn't going to do anything else. So it's up to me to do something that's going to give me all the other things that I want. The vacations that I want, the leadership opportunities that I want, the ability to travel and, just anything else that I decide is important, I'm going to have to take charge. And so that's where I get to be in the driver's seat. I get to drive a free car. And I get to, be free to make the kinds of choices that I want to make. So if any of that is resonating with you, if any of that sounds familiar, or you're kind of thinking, yeah, I want to be able to do that stuff too, then what you should do is check this little box on the front of your closing sheet. Here's where it is. I show them where to check the box. And we'll talk about this, not now, but we'll talk about maybe a quick 15, 20-minute conversation over coffee or something about whether or not this might be a fit for you or somebody that you know. And honestly, it's 20 minutes out of your life, so you should just check the box. So make sure you just do it. Just check the box. So I'm going to do checkout over here in such and such a room, and you can, move your stuff over there and get ready to meet with everybody and do however you like to close your show at that point. Then you can go from there. So I hope what everybody's taking away from this today is that it's a really simple process for you to add the slideshow. But it does make the experience a completely different one and a more engaging, interesting, and informative one for your guests, that they also feel a little bit more involved in, and that they're also more likely to remember, and that it also helps you to stay on track, and that you don't need to be the expert that knows every single herb and how many grams of this and what the scientific name is for that. You don't have to know that stuff because it's right there on the presentation. So you're just there kind of like, your job is almost just to tell the stories. It's like, well, here's how I use this product, and here's the great results my customers get, and oh, it tastes so great when you do this, and I feel amazing when I do that, and I love this part, and that's my favorite thing, and blah, blah. You're just there to like add the personality and to tell the stories of yourself and the people that you know that use Arbonne. But all of the like super factual information is there in the presentation, so that then, and that's there for people that like love that kind of information. And then you're there to be like the face of Arbonne, the person, the real person. And then that's all the info there. So I feel like, you'll get a lot out of it if you find some ways to, your next couple of parties, start trying to use this presentation. It'll make a big difference. So what I'm going to do real quick right now, if I can figure out how to get back to the screen where I can unshare my screen. How do I do that? Oh yeah, there it is. Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm getting there. Stop share. That's what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm also going to stop this recording. So thanks everybody for being on. And then what we're going to do once we say goodbye. So goodbye everybody, and thanks for joining us for this training.